Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As a part of the PSRS group activity, we, the students of MIT Kothurod, have the distinct privilege of interviewing a luminary in the field of science. And who better to represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement than Dr. S.P. Tripathi, the former Director General of the Indian Council of Medical Research and the National Institute of Research for Tuberculosis, a man whose pioneering contributions have been instrumental in advancing research on HIV and tuberculosis in India. Dr. Tripathi's journey to excellence began with his MBBS at the SCB Medical College in Cuttack. During that, he achieved the rare distinction of being honored in all 6 subjects and emerging as the top student in his batch, a record which till now remains unbroken. Following this, he pursued his MD in microbiology at Vizag Medical College and subsequently joined AIIMS as a lecturer in microbiology. In 1962, he assumed the role of senior research officer at the TB Chemotherapy Center, and at that remarkable age of 38, he became the director of what we know today as the National Institute of Research in Tuberculosis, NIRT. Dr. Tripathi's ascent in the scientific world continued as he climbed the ladder of success. He served as the senior director and later as additional director general at ICMR Delhi in 1989, ultimately attaining the prestigious position of Director General of ICMR in 1991, a role he held until his retirement in 1994. However, his passion for research did not wane, and he subsequently joined the World Health Organization CRO, where he headed a significant department. His primary areas of research focus on tuberculosis and HIV, and it was under his directorship that HIV was first detected in India, marking a watershed moment in a country's healthcare landscape. Dr. Tripathy played an instrumental role in shaping the transition of TCC, that is the Tuberculosis Chemotherapy Center, to the TRC, Tuberculosis Research Center, working closely with the TCC founders, Dr. Fox Wallace and Dr. Mitchison. In recognition of his outstanding contributions, the conference hall at NIRT Chennai was named in his honor in 2019 as a token of gratitude and remembrance, forever commemorating his exceptional dedication to advancing the frontiers of medical research in India. Today, we have the unique opportunity to delve into the insights and experiences of this distinguished researcher. Join us in welcoming Dr. S.P. Tripathi as he shares his wisdom and reflections on a timeline dedicated to the pursuit of scientific excellence. So we can start with the questions now.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Abhinav, and my question to you is that can you share some of the key milestones and breakthroughs from your research career in tuberculosis that you are the most proud of?
Your key breakthroughs in your field of tuberculosis.
Repeat the question.
Can you repeat your question?
Yes, sir. Can you share some of the key milestones and breakthroughs from your research career in tuberculosis that you are the most proud of?
Do you mind if I start in a different way?
No problem.
You see, I actually come from a family generation of priests and scholars in Sanskrit, scholars in Ayurvedic medicines, and other scientific things in Sanskrit, whatever it is. I also had no ambition of becoming a doctor. I was more supposed to follow my father, who was a great Sanskrit scholar. He self-taught SSLC, intermediate, BA, MA Sanskrit, and he also joined politics. He became an MLA, district board vice chairman, and he was an MP, member of Lok Sabha for 3 terms. Now, my original intention was to become a Sanskrit scholar and follow my father's Ayurvedic practice. I joined, but in the process, ultimately, after my intermediate in science, I got admitted to a medical college where I was the first in all the 5 years of my career. I had honors in 4 subjects, and I was I stood first in the university for the MBBS and with honors in ophthalmology. So I by chance I got a chance to join the All India Institute of Medical Sciences as a scientist. And as a scientist, I registered for doing, in those days, All India Institute did not have a MD for non-medical subjects. I mean, the MD was given only for MD medicine in those days. All other were offered PhD. But the public generally preferred MDs rather than PhDs. So if there was a advertisement for a fellowship for MD, I applied for it and got selected and was posted to King George Medical College, Vizag, to do my MD. So I did MD in bacteriology. I had a very good teachers. And one of my examiners in the final examination came from Chennai. And he was the one who was instrumental in my getting into Chennai. So what happened was, I finished my exam, and then he had a friend in Chennai, and I had my dissertation in MD for tuberculosis sensitivity tests. So his friend in the Madras Center told him that if you meet this gentleman, please ask him whether he would like to join us. That is, join the Madras Center, Tuberculosis Center. So after I finished, after I passed the exams, then next day he stayed for one day and he asked me this question. I said, since I have no job, I'm prepared to go to Chennai. He said, when I go back, I talk to people, to them, to call you for an interview. I went back to Chennai, went back from not Chennai, went back to Odisha and joined medical college, a newly started medical college as a assistant professor. So after a couple of months, I was called for interview in Chennai. They offered me a post of senior research officer, which I gladly accepted. And then I had to resign from medical college. Now, this is something rather unusual because people prefer medical colleges to work in, but I instead joined a research institute where the jobs were not permanent, they were only temporary jobs. And the future was uncertain. So I joined the center in Chennai and was appointed as a senior bacteriologist. Actually, the head of the department was a British doctor because the center was, Madras Center was under the direction of the WHO and British Medical Research Council. So, after about 2-3 years, I applied for a fellowship abroad and was selected for Trudeau Institute in New York State. Surprisingly, I did not get the training which I used to get. Coming from a tuberculosis institute, I wanted to become expert in tuberculosis research, including sensitivity tests. So, unfortunately, by the time I was released to go there, the person who was the head of the institute and was head of the institute and was doing laboratory sensitivity tests, he had retired. So the person who had taken over, he was a scientist, Australian scientist called George McInnes, and he was not interested in sensitivity tests for tuberculosis, and that sector was abolished, So I had no choice but to do something on immunology, of which he was the expert. So that is how we became an expert in immunology. So after I came back from New York, I told head of the institute in Madras that I did not do any work in tuberculosis, but I did work in immunology. So that is how I got into immunology, and through immunology, I got to do immunity in tuberculosis. Then it led to immunological studies in AIDS, and that is how I became interested in AIDS and establishing AIDS work in India, which was non-existent before. So that made me establish different laboratories for doing the immunological tests for tuberculosis, for HIV, and by chance, we came across a bunch of prostitutes who had been detained. They were going to be tested. The blood was testing to be tested for sexually transmitted diseases. But at the same time, they sent the serum to USA for HIV. In those days, HIV was supposed to be a disease of homosexuals and was reported only in men. Nobody expected that women got infected with HIV. So to our surprise, 5 of the prostitutes were found to be HIV positive. And that is how we got interested in, and we knew that because of that, HIV could occur anywhere in India, whereas if it was only in homosexuals, then it would have been confined to places like Bombay, Pune, and some other places. But because of it was found to be positive in women also, then whole of India was provided with laboratory facilities where HIV positive could be detected. And during this time, I became the head of the bacterial department, and then also the director of the research center, which I had headed for many years. From there, I moved over to Delhi, not by my choice, but due to the Director General needing my services for other communicable diseases as well. So from then on, I expanded my area of interest to other communicable diseases, and eventually I became Additional Director General and then Director General in 1991. I became Director General, Indian Council of Medical Research. This is my career.
So I think he mostly covered everything that whatever we needed to ask. Apart from that, do you have any other questions? Like if you want to ask something.
Yes, actually, I have one question, sir. My name is Kunal Latkar, and I have this question that your son has also followed your footsteps to become involved in the field of tuberculosis. So, can you tell us how this next generation in getting involved in your field actually feels like?
I don't know.
He's asking that even your son is involved in tuberculosis research. So how does
I see. You see, when I was in Chennai for a long time, and during this process, during this time, my son was educated from school, college, and then in medical college also he studied MBBS, and then he got interested in our Tuberculosis Research Center. So once he got a job, then he did well, and then he continued, and he took a job here in the center, and then got admitted to MD, and because he liked the research what going on in our institute, he joined our institute and continued. He finished his MD, and we encouraged him to do whatever he wanted to do, and that is how he will continue to work with me.
okay? So anybody else have any other questions? So that's it.
Yeah. So, good evening, sir. I am Soham Gajendra Gadkar, and I would like to ask you a question that what inspired you to pursue a career in tuberculosis research, and how did you become interested in this field?
How I got interested? I think I told you that my examiner himself wanted that I should join in tuberculosis. But when I joined there, I had no intention of remaining there permanently. It was not a permanent institute. It was a temporary institute with temporary jobs. So I thought I can work for 2-3 years in that center, and then go back to medical college. But as God will have it, I was so much liked by the British people who are running the institute, and they encouraged me by giving me promotion, fellowships abroad, in every possible way. And in fact, although my MD degree was in microbiology, I was selected finally for director of the whole institute, which also included so many medical people.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your valuable answer.
Okay, thank you.
I think he has covered most of your answers. And also now let's come to the end. I just want him to bless all of us and have your blessings with us all the time. You know me very well and already a good friend of mine. So I think finally we are coming to the end. So if any one of you wants to say something, so they can.
Hello, sir.
Whatever I am today, it is because of God. Because God has helped me in a lot at every stage. Most of the choices were by chance, which could have happened only with God's help. Like my working in immunology, that was a great thing because that helped me to develop the AIDS work in India. In fact, our AIDS work was so interesting and was the way I established the AIDS units in different parts of India. It was very remarkable. Everybody appreciated it.
Okay. So you want to say something?
I have one last question. Myself, Soham More. Sir, what's your belief in religion and faith?
Like your faith and your religion, how has your faith and your religion, like how has that fusion of your study and faith has like do you believe in God and do you believe in God and
I really believe in God, and God has helped me because I never had I will come this far. My original intention was that I will pass Indian system of medicine, which I did. I got a degree of Ayurveda Shastri. My father had a very good Ayurvedic physician. So I thought I will follow him. I will help him, enjoy him, and help him, and take over his practice. All that has gone. My father encouraged me to do whatever I wanted. He never insisted that I should go and join him. So he helped me to develop. At every stage, I consulted him, and he helped me.
right, so I think so that's it from our end. We'll come to the end of this interview. Like, we all are very thankful that you gave your time and understand like because of the age it's somewhat difficult for you to also, but you took time and you gave a good interview, sir. We are all thankful for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.